Alright class, so the goal for you tonight is for you to be able to recognize and perform rotations around the origin in a coordinate plane. Alright, so rotations, get this down in red. Alright, rotations involve moving points on a coordinate plane around the origin. Alright, so we're going to be rotating our shapes around the origin. Like, for example, a car, where you got the axle, here's the wheel spinning. Alright, the wheel spins around the axle. Right, the axle doesn't move. Just like the origin, alright, of a graph or of a coordinate plane. Alright, the origin's not going to move, but the shape is going to spin around it. Alright, now the prime points are going to be rotated 90 degrees or 180 degrees, clockwise or counterclockwise. Alright, remember clockwise, write this down. Put a star next to this. Alright, clockwise is to the right, counterclockwise is to the left. Alright, so get this down. Most of you already know this, but I want to see it in your notes. Put a star next to it. Clockwise is to the right, counterclockwise is to the left. Alright, after plotting the new coordinates, the image is going to appear to turn. Alright, so with a translation, the image slides. With a reflection, the image flips. Alright, and with a rotation, the image turns. Alright, so those are the three transformations we've talked about. This is our last one. So on to the next slide. Alright, so this might be confusing in here with all this going on. Alright, so I'll explain in a second. First, let's just get this down. Alright, we have to create an image by graphing and labeling these points. So I've got -1, 3 for A, -6, 1 for B, and -2, 6 for C. Alright, so I plotted those. A, -1, 3, B, -6, 1, and C, -2, 6. Alright, now we're going to rotate that image 90 degrees clockwise around the origin. Alright, clockwise, that's to the right, 90 degrees. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw, alright, from the origin to point A. I'm going to go up like I'm rising, and then to the left like I'm running. So I'm going up 3, to the left 1, and there's my line. Alright, B, I'm going up 1, and then I'm running 6 to the left. C, I'm going to be rising. Alright, I'm going to be rising 6 and going back 2. Alright, now, in order to figure out the new locations of these coordinates, those points, alright, this is what we're going to do. See this green dashed line for point A? Well, class, 90 degrees to the right. So if you take that line, see how it goes straight up and down? And you rotate it 90 degrees. Alright? 90 degrees. Here's our line. Right? We're rotating it 90. That's going to form a 90-degree angle. Why it's called a 90-degree rotation. Alright, see how this green line, it just rotates down that way? It's still 3 over and up 1. 3 over, up 1. 3 long, over 1. 3 long, over 1. Alright, and that green line is just rotating 90 degrees down. And then A prime ends up being right there at 3, 1. Alright, point B, right, let's see how it's kind of facing this way. Well, if we rotate it 90 degrees, point B ends up being right here, B prime, which is at 1, 6. And then C, look at this class, we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 2. I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees, just like that. Alright, C becomes C prime, and our new coordinates are 6, 2 for C prime. Alright, now put a star next to this. Alright, get this in your notes. I want you Alright, to write down that if we draw a line from point A to the origin, and from prime A to the origin, we create a 90-degree angle. Alright, so write that down. If we draw a line from point A to the origin, and from prime A to the origin, we're going to create a 90-degree angle. Hence the 90-degree rotation. Same with B and B prime. If we draw a line from B here and B prime, we're going to create a 90-degree angle. C and C prime, here to there, we're going to create a 90-degree angle. Alright, but because we're not using protractors, I'm not going to let you use protractors for this. Alright, I'm not going to teach you that method. I want you to be able to count the coordinates. Alright, so make sure you get that down in your notes. Next. Alright, now you have to create an image by graphing and labeling these points. I've already got it done for you. Alright, I've got point A at 2, -2, point B at 1, -5, point C is at 7, -3, and point D is at 7, -8. Alright, so there's my polygon, there's my four-sided figure. Now, we need to rotate the image 180 degrees around the origin. Well, class, remember, 180 degrees, that's just a straight line, right? So we're going to be rotating this here, 90, 180. So our image is actually going to end up on the opposite side, 180 degrees, it's a straight line. Boom, right there. Alright, if it was 90 degrees, it would just be into one different quadrant, alright, into the next quadrant. If it was counterclockwise, if it was clockwise, 90 degrees, we'd be moving this figure into that quadrant, alright? But we're going to rotate this figure 180 degrees. So, notice what I've done here, class. I've drawn, to go from the origin to A, I'm going down 2, right 2. Alright? Well, class, this is rotating 180 degrees. So first, see this line coming off the origin is going down? Well, if we rotate it 90, that's going to be facing this way. So it's going to be doing this. But I'm going to rotate it 90 more because it's a 180 degree turn. So it's going to go this way, which is at 90, and then 90 more degrees. So now, A prime is going to be located right there. See this? If we took this little hook, this little L, rotate it 90, alright, it would end up facing actually that way. Rotate it 90, it faces that way. And then when we rotate 90 again, it's going to face that way. And there's A prime. Alright? B prime. Okay, same thing. Look what we're doing here. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. So our line off the origin is 5 long and then over 1. Well, if I rotate this 90 degrees, that blue dashed line for point B is going to hook up. That's 90. But then I need to rotate 90 more. Right there. So that'll be up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long, right? And it's hooking 1, so this way, 1 unit. Alright, there's B prime. Next, C prime. Alright, so I've got going 3 units off the origin, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. Alright, well, again, class, if I take this red line, right, and I start to rotate it around the origin, it's going to look like this. Alright, I'm going to rotate this way, just like that. This shorter side is going to rotate up here. This long side is going to rotate up there. But that's only 90 degrees. Alright, we need to rotate it again 90, so that we've gone 90 plus 90 is 180. Alright, so we're going to end up going up 3, and then again it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off of there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then finally, point D. Alright, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units along from the origin. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units that way. Alright, towards D. We're going to run to D. Well, again, class, I can erase this now. If I rotate this up 90, alright, this line coming off the origin is going to rotate up 90 degrees. That's 90, but then we have to go another 90 to make it 180. So this line is going to be going up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. And it is going to go over 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I can connect all these points to form my four-sided polygon. Alright, and here I now have D prime. Blue, that's B prime. Red, that's C prime. And last one, green, that's A prime. Now, what are the coordinates? Well, A ends up moving to -2, +2. So I've got in here -2. Oh, you know what? I'll move this a little bit. -2, +2. Point B ends up moving to -1, 5. Alright, C prime ends up moving to -7, 3. And D prime ends up moving to -7, +8. Now you might notice the pattern, how we went from A prime, or sorry, A to A prime, B to B prime, C to C prime, D to D prime. Look what happened to the values, class. They become the inverses. Alright, so last slide. You must, just like with all the other transformations, you must be able to list the coordinates of an image after it's been rotated without using a coordinate plane. Alright, so a rotation 90 degrees clockwise, alright, to the right. Well, class, let's say we take the coordinate 5, 6. Well, when you rotate an image 90 degrees clockwise, this is what happens to every coordinate. The values switch places, so it goes 6, 5 instead of 5, 6. And then the y value becomes its inverse. So it was 6, 5. We switched them, and then the y value becomes the inverse. The inverse of +5 is -5. Alright? So the x values and y values trade places, and the y value becomes the inverse. Alright? When you rotate an image 90 degrees counterclockwise, alright, you do the same thing when you have to trade places with the x and y values. So -4 and -2 are going to flip-flop so that we get -2, -4. But the x value is going to become its inverse. So instead of, when you flip-flop these, getting -2, -4, we get +2, -4. Alright, so the x value becomes the inverse. When we rotate any figure 180 degrees, this one's easy, and you probably noticed it in the last slide. If I give you the coordinate, any coordinate, alright, let's say it's -3, 8. Well, when we rotate that image 180 degrees, the new coordinates become +3, -8. So the x values and the y values become their inverses. Alright, they don't even have to flip-flop places. All that happens is the x value becomes its inverse, the y value becomes its inverse. So we go from -3, +8 to +3, -8. Alright, and that's it. So, and then you got like 2 days to get this video watched, get your notes taken. When we come back, we're going to spend a day on this, and then get ready for our test. Alright, so I'll see you guys soon. Later.